We wanted to have children to become a family, but certainly when we were applying, we had no preference in mind for boys or girls.
You go in very blinded about what you want, and it's quite selfish at first, but then you realise eventually further on in the training that you broaden what you can have, like how many children are there, what the needs are, and then we kind of opened up a bit more to the idea of what we wanted.
We were quite open about what sort of child we wanted. We knew we wanted more than one, and we needed to understand what that process was in terms of a gap between one child and another, or taking a sibling group.
We hadn't really decided on age, because I don't think we sort of like knew, because of our age, how old the child could be really. We knew we wouldn't probably have a baby. We knew the child probably had to be a little bit older than that.
We probably thought that an older child would be what we'd be approved for because of our age.
We were a little bit concerned because of our ages. We were over 40 at the time.
Before I made the application, I was most concerned about whether I would pass the process, become an approved adopter, and whether I had the right skills in order to successfully parent a child.
The first thought we had was, we are lesbians, we're in a lesbian relationship, and people had mentioned in the past that you're not allowed, you're going to get discriminated, just don't bother. And it was the complete opposite. It wasn't an issue, we spoke about it, no issues whatsoever with any of the agency, and it's never gone against us.
It was quite fascinating during the training to hear the stories of the other prospective adopters was so similar to our own.
Yeah.
The way the training days worked, they prepared us, they opened our eyes to see what actual children have been through.
It was a good chance to get all those concerns aired and talked through, and also with a lot of the activities and the discussions that we had, brought up things that maybe we hadn't thought of, but we needed to consider as well.
They cover all the points that need to be covered for you to be prepared to be able to go and adopt a child. It's very, very thorough. It's very good.
Although the process felt intrusive at the time, I suppose it's because you're feeling quite vulnerable. You're sort of opening yourself up to people. And I suppose at the time we were also reflecting on the fact that having been through a process to have a child naturally and through IVF, neither of those processes had involved so much introspection, really, so much examination of why you were doing it and what your motives were.
Although we were bearing our souls as such, and on some points it was maybe difficult or uncomfortable, but we felt that it was something that we needed to do, obviously, for the sake of the children and the adoption process. And our intention was that we were doing it in order to be matched well with whoever would make up our family.
In hindsight, we both said that it was good because it made us really look at it. And, perhaps it's a shame that people who have their children naturally don't also have to go through the same process.
I think both of us came here with a little bit of trepidation because we had no idea. The first time round, we had no idea what we were letting ourselves in for. But actually, the people made us feel very comfortable.
Yes.
They said they were not judging us. They were just here to make sure that what we'd said, we knew where we were going with it. And it was very...
It's a very friendly conversation.
It was a very friendly conversation, yes, it was.
Yes, they did well to put us at our ease, obviously knowing we would be nervous.
Yeah.
And it was more almost like meeting with friends at this type of discussion than an examination.
Yeah.
We were told that we didn't need to appear at panel, but we wanted to go to panel. It was quite daunting, really, because from our point of view, we were then being told that we could be parents. And it's quite a surreal thing, really, because you know you can be a parent and you wanted to be a parent naturally, but now you're waiting for somebody to say yes, you can be a parent. So it's quite a surreal thing, really.
It were nervous. I'm not going to lie. You know, we went and we were nervous. We both didn't really sleep that night, and then we got there and it was so welcoming. Everyone were really friendly, and we sat there. And you're human, so this is a big decision for you. You're gonna be nervous. And it was just that nervous moment. It was like being at school and not getting in trouble, but when you know that you've got to go for something big and you're nervous. But honestly, people are so nice to you. They ask you normal questions, because I thought, what are they going to ask me? And I got in panel and they was asking me things like, how are you feeling? How's your day been? And they were so nice, and you just relax. And then, I chat a lot anyway, but we ended up talking about anything in panel. And then, when we come out and they give us that answer, we were so happy. It was just unbelievable, life-changing, so it was good. Nerve-wracking, but good.
The actual matching then, we didn't really see any of it. We just left it to our social worker, and she went through whatever avenues she went through to actually find us a sibling group of 3, and she presented some high-level information to us about them, at which point we said, yes, that looks fine. We'd deliberately not gone to the websites and to the newsletters with the children's pictures in, because we just didn't want to have to make that decision ourselves, I suppose, in some respects. We were happy to leave it in the hands of somebody we trusted.
We both came to a decision in the end that we would try to go for a sibling group of 2, because we could see the benefits of having the sibling group for the children, mainly because of the bond that they would have with each other. They would be great support to each other, and especially at school, and starting off things and maybe different groups eventually, that they would have support from each other and making friends. And also, as my husband says, it would be a lot more fun, he says.
I didn't have a picture of a child that I wanted. For me, it was just going to see what children were there and finding a child that way, really. But as soon as I saw the picture, I just knew.
We asked Laura to choose a child for us. We could have chose ourselves, but we didn't want to do that. We trusted Laura. We'd been through that journey. So we said, can you choose a child? She chose the perfect child for us, definitely. You know, we got the profile, we read everything, didn't look at the picture until the end, because you don't want to fall in love with a picture. And then, you know, he drew to us because of what he'd been through. Everything matched, type thing, you know. His development, he was behind, but it was something we felt we could deal with. And then when we looked at his picture, that was it then. It was like love at first sight.
We didn't really know how things were going to go, how the children would react, how we would react. Would they like us? Would we like them? It's just that unknown, really. And we were very anxious about it, and I'm sure perhaps that maybe came across.
I never considered how frightened my son might be of being in a new home, away from the security and safety of his foster family who we'd known for 3 years.
In those early days, there was a lot of talk of his birth mum, and I felt, for me, as a challenge for me, was that there was 3 people in that relationship for quite a while. And when you're actually in it, it's quite hard to see out of it, really, the future, really, of where you're probably going to go.
Every now and again, there was a few tears, and there was a few moments when they would cry and say, where are the carers, and would they be coming back? And we tried to talk to them about that they were safe and they were well.
I was worried that, we might not bond with him. Everything goes through your head, you might not bond. Eventually the bond does come. It comes naturally. It come more with my partner because she was off with him for the whole of, I think it was 9 months. So she was off, so she got that bond straight away. I did bond with him naturally, but I was working as well, so it took a little bit longer.
I'll never forget the emotion I felt the very first time we brought our son home, and the sudden thought hit me, I'm now responsible for this person.
Yeah.
Ag. And once you get over that initial shock, some things become routine in terms of bathing, feeding, help calming, putting to bed, all these sort of routines. And that is actually one of the key bits which has helped with that starting point, is having quite clear routines, but not being rigid routines.
We would be two very different people, I think, if we hadn't adopted, and we like who we are now better than what we would have been if we hadn't have adopted, really. The children have brought more to us, I feel, than what we've brought to them, because of their personalities, their challenges as well. I wouldn't have had met those challenges beforehand, and I would never have known the ability of us to meet and maybe achieve things that we wouldn't have otherwise achieved.
Taking on a complex child, or a harder to place child, or an older child, for example, does bring with it more complexities and more challenges. But it's reassuring to know that throughout all those challenges and journeys, there is somebody to talk to, there are groups to go to, there are workshops to attend, where there are people in the same room as you who are experiencing exactly the same challenges and problems, and also rewarding times that you can just bounce off and get so much real life experience from, that you take away, you go home, and you've got so much more in your toolkit to go towards the next stage of the journey.
There's loads of support there for us all the time. At any particular time, if there's a question or something we're unsure of how to handle, we just pick up the phone and we can speak to anybody, really. It's really, really good. There's no problems in accessing services. If there's anything that we need, we'll be informed of different things that we can go to attend as well, to help us understanding how children in adoption move on in their life as well. So there's loads of support there.
To someone who is just thinking about adoption now, I would first of all say to them that your anxieties and your nerves are absolutely the same as what everybody else felt at your stage in the process. I would say it's right to be frightened of where this journey may take you to, but I would also say run with it and go with it. The rewards that you will reap from adopting a child are enormous and will be so far beyond anything you could ever imagine. Don't be frightened about the responsibility. Don't be frightened of thinking, have I got what it takes to do this? There's an enormous amount of support that will help you to achieve what you want to achieve, and what you want to achieve for your children, and what they will achieve in turn.
To those people thinking of adopting, I would say, think it carefully through. Why do you want to do it? Make sure you do your research in terms of what agency you choose. That there will be some that suit you and some that don't. Don't have rose-tinted glasses. It's not this miraculous thing. It's like any child. It takes effort from the parents. But at the end of it, we would say absolutely do it, because we've gained, and the children have certainly gained from being part of an adoptive family.
What would I say?
To someone who's thinking about adoption, get on with it.
Yeah. It's worth everything. It's worth all the difficulties, all the things that you have to go through, all the hoops you have to jump through. In the end, it is absolutely and 100% worth it.